A year ago, we looked at Devil Hunter Yoko, a weird, uneven series that was our first foray into the seedy underbelly of the magical girl genre. Today, however, we're going to be looking at a series that may be my most favorite example of the genre. New Cutey Honey. For those of you not in the know, Cutey Honey is probably the oldest franchise I've covered so far, the first manga being published in 1973. Created by Go Nagai, the series has spawned anime adaptations, video games, and even a live-action film. However, the only version made available here in the States is this, an 8-episode OVA that I think perfectly encapsulates the manic level of fun that drew fans to anime in the first place. Now, I'm not going to pretend that New Cutey Honey is any kind of artistic achievement, but I find it impossible for me to sit through any one episode and not smile or giggle. It's just fun and sexy and fully entertaining. I'm fairly certain that some of you out there are calling me a hypocrite because I've railed against fan service in the past, and, well, there's no shortage of it here in New Cutey Honey, but I'll explain myself more when we get to it. Bring on the titties! We begin our tale with a daring and brazen bank robbery.
I'd like to get some money.
You're making a withdrawal?
No.
I'm sorry, are you making a deposit? Or would you like to take out a loan?
Neither, Bambi. I'm just taking it.
Sorry for this, miss, but automatic cash dispensers just don't understand what this means.
This moment brought to you by the National Rifle Association, protecting your God-given right to absolutely positively kill every motherfucker in the room. Protecting your right to property. Yeah, that's the ticket. It turns out that these bumbling thieves are the parents of Cutey, the most annoying character in the entire show. And that's because nearly every other word coming out of this kid's mouth is him screaming the main character's name.
Honey! No, honey! Don't die! Honey! Honey!
Don't worry, folks, this isn't going to turn into a counting gag. Because I might as well be counting sand. Cutey, it seems, is on his way to a rally held by the mayor of Cosplay City. Yes, Cosplay City. Apparently, crime is rampant in the streets, and only by uniting against organized crime can this city know peace. Unfortunately, this also makes them the perfect targets of said organized crime, and motorcycle gangs crash the rally.
Mayor Light, you've got to get out of here!
No, it's my duty to stay.
Since when, Dudley Do-Right? If being mayor means pointlessly sacrificing yourself, no one would run for mayor.
What's taking so long? Why are you screwing around?
Can you believe this stupid kid jumped me? You better have a little fun yourself, or everyone will be dead, except maybe the girl.
Get out of here, Cutey. Don't worry about me. Just save yourself.
Okay, I'm not bothered by the mayor's cartoonish level of selflessness, but how in the fuck does he know Cutey's name? Has he been following him? Just as I'm getting Patrick Swayze and Donnie Darko flashbacks, in comes Cutey's cyborg grandpa to save the day. Yeah, it's one of those animes. Grandpa Badass seems to be fending off the gangs pretty well. That is, until the Lord of Darkness himself pimps in.
It seems that our industrious mayor is having a problem handling these petty outlaws.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm just a simple Lord of Darkness, drawn by the tempting light.
Lord of Darkness. You're Dolmek? Dolmek!
So in 2 minutes' time, we get a motorcycle gang fight, a cybernetic badass grandpa, and then the Lord of Darkness himself crashes the party. If they threw in Lopan from Big Trouble in Little China, reality itself would collapse from the awesomeness. Apparently, Dolmek is here to strike a bargain with the mayor, and that should he join him and be his lieutenant, a lot of innocent lives will be spared. Of course, the mayor is incorruptible, so he tells Dolmek to fuck off. And he does. Just like that. Worst Lord of Darkness ever.
Cutey.
Huh?
On my signal, pull the string on my backpack.
Like pulling your finger?
No, this'll do even more damage.
Awkward shoehorned in joke. Oh, ADV, you'll never change. Actually, this dub plays off like a who's who of ADV's stable of actors. To be honest, it's kind of a game for me to see how many actors here have been in Excel Saga. Let's see, there's Jessica Calvello, Greg Stanley, Tiffany Grant, Jason Douglas, Laura Chapman, Kelly Manison, Matt Greenfield, Sherry Sims, Rob Mungle, Phil Ross, Paul Sedillo, Marcy Ray, John Swayze, and Brett Weaver.
Congratulations, Sage! You just won the ADV Fanboy Grand Prize! A lifetime supply of self-doubt and bad decisions.
But I already got that! Just about the time where you begin wondering where the hell Cutey Honey is supposed to be, it's revealed that she's none other than the mayor's secretary, and this revelation comes not a moment too soon as Dolmek sends his starry-nippled lackey to ambush the mayor and his men. Starry-nippled lackey. File that one under words I never thought I'd say. This is where it gets tricky to talk about the show because a lot of the fight scenes in Cutey Honey involves her shedding her clothes and I can't really show that. In fact, every fight scene in Cutey Honey involves nudity in some form, and this series is nothing but fight scenes. And this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. This is fan service. But it's also the best kind of fan service. The reason why fan service in shows like Love Hina doesn't work is because oftentimes the tits and asses on display are attached to awful, annoying characters. I don't really care how good Naru Narusagawa supposedly looks. I find her incredibly unattractive on her personality alone, and the show's repeated attempts to get me all riled up by showing her in skimpy clothing, or no clothing at all, just reinforces the fact that the only thing she has going for her is her looks. Now, Cutey Honey, on the other hand, is attractive not just because of her looks, but because of her kind and determined personality. She kicks all sorts of ass while still maintaining a cheery demeanor. She's a fun, spunky, likable character. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the best kind of fan service knows that TNA can only go so far, so those tits and asses better be attached to an actual character, not a walking annoyance. Having finally transformed into the lovely warrior Cutey Honey, Star Nipples here transforms herself into a furry's nightmare. Or dream come true.
This is impossible! You don't really think you can kill me with that sword? You killed my father, you've killed my friends, and you've destroyed my city! There's no mercy for you no matter what the cost!
Wait, she killed your father. When? I know that this is supposed to have taken place 100 years after the original 1973 television show, and maybe that's what she's talking about, but I'm grasping at straws here. I know ADV was in a rough spot here since that was probably the line in the original Japanese dub, but how in the world is anyone in America supposed to pick up on that, since that series was never brought over to the States? I'm looking at you, Kleckner. But justice wins the day as Cutey Honey fucking cleaves through Star Nipples and reveals her true form. It's later revealed that Cutey Honey is actually an android who has the power to switch her abilities depending on her attire. Think Mega Man crossed with Barbie.
Sometimes I'm an S&M queen. Sometimes I'm a girl in black tights. Sometimes I'm a warrior in gleaming white armor. But the truth is, Honey Flash!
She does that every single episode, but for some reason, I don't find it annoying. It's probably because of the tits. Now that I've shown you the first episode, you've basically seen the entire series. New Cutey Honey, when you get down to it, is a Monster of the Day show, not unlike Super Sentai shows, or more directly, Sailor Moon. It's formulaic as all hell, I'm not going to deny that, but a lot of the enjoyment from New Cutey Honey comes from the execution rather than the premise. It's not difficult math, people. Have a spunky, fun main character, surround her with an equally fun and interesting rogues gallery, and have a few tongue-in-cheek jokes about the premise itself.
How can you still be alive? Honey, I knew you were dead. I knew you were still alive.
Well, of course, and here's why. My contract says I have to wear one of these. If my breasts were damaged, fans everywhere would be grieving.
Okay, actually have the jokes be good, but points for effort. I originally wanted to dedicate the month to new Cutey Honey, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that there really isn't enough here to dedicate 2 episodes on this. So rather than continue on with the story linearly, I'm going to shift gears and talk about my 2 favorite episodes of the run. I know that normally I talk about a series from beginning to end, but Cutey Honey doesn't really have an arcing story. Dolmek is killed by the 4th episode and never really comes back.
We cannot be destroyed. As long as mankind survives, we shall be reborn again and again.
No you won't. That's the last we ever hear of him. Kind of a pisser. Apparently, there were 13 episodes planned for release, but only 8 were ever produced, which I guess explains the dangling plot threads in the second half of the series. Though there is a sort of running plot line in the first 4 episodes, the last 4 are standalone adventures of Cutey Honey and the gang, defeating the last remnants of Dolmek's influence and other criminals. One of my 2 favorite episodes is the 2nd episode, where a lesbian jeweler turns naked women into statues for her pleasure. Interested?
Go ahead and look around.
Oh, this is marvelous!
It's a nice piece of ice.
Luscious. They are beautiful. Exquisite. But compared to beauty such as yours, these jewels are just baubles of glass, meaningless trinkets.
Oh, princess.
Oh, how charming. I am sorry. It's just that she's such a pretty girl.
Well...
Okay, there's no tactful way of saying this, so I'm just gonna go out and say it. This series, and this episode in particular, is sexy. And as pig-headed as it makes me sound, that's a good thing. Part of the problem with so-called sexy anime is that they either confuse sexiness with pandering and they wind up trying too hard and it just feels sleazy, or they try to make boring or hateful characters sexy. It's hard to articulate why Cutey Honey gets it right when so many other anime get it wrong. So let's compare and contrast Cutey Honey with another anime. Girls Bravo. Well, really, there's no comparison between the two because Girls Bravo is a total piece of shit, but I want to directly illustrate the difference between the two using similar scenes. Whereas Cutey Honey handled a scene where a villainess makes her move on our main character with restraint but obvious desire, Girls Bravo portrays it almost like a rape scene.
Lovely.
Why, you...
Too bad. We'll have to start from here next time.
Believe it or not, the scene where a woman gets molested with a gun is not the worst it gets.
You looked very lovely that day. I'd like to get to know you a little bit better. So how about we pick up where we left off?
When people equate sexy with dirtiness or depravity, this is what they mean. So, are you getting me? Sexy.
Compared to beauty such as yours, these jewels are just baubles of glass, meaningless trinkets.
Sleazy. Now, that isn't to say that sleaze doesn't have its place, it's just not in polite company. This sapphic sapphire, calling herself the Jewel Princess, has her eyes set on Honey and she doesn't like taking no for an answer. She follows Honey back to her room where she attempts to abduct her for her collection, but Honey counters by transforming herself into a dominatrix.
You can't escape from the Queen's whip, Princess!
You're very good, but I'm not usually into getting tied and whipped.
There is not an ounce of shame in this entire show. And you know what? I think that's what really sells it. It could have been so easy for Cutie Honey to try and hide the fact that this is a fan service show by pretending to have deeper meaning, like having the Jewel Princess be a symbolic representation of women's own tendencies to reinforce the objectification of her own gender. I mean, what is the Jewel Princess doing if not literally making women into objects for their beauty? But nope, the anime doesn't even attempt to comment on any of that, which is actually much more preferable to me. I'll take honest and appealing cheesecake over fan service disguised as insincere commentary any day of the week. If I wanted to watch a woman give a man fellatio, I'm not going to turn on the Brown Bunny. And really, who wouldn't want to watch half-naked women fight Power Ranger style? And that's exactly what happens. Cutie Honey confronts the Jewel Princess in her secret lair, and they duke it out, with Cutie Honey winning the day by fragging the Jewel Princess good using her own statue-making gel. Irony. Nice. My other favorite episode starts with a new task force calling themselves Thug Hunters, breaking up organized crime and hoodlums. While on the surface this seems exactly the kind of thing Cosplay City needs, it turns out this is a front for the nefarious Scorpion to host gladiatorial death matches for her amusement. In a time where it seems that every single story is struggling to have a complex and compelling villain, it's actually kind of comforting to see a villain be a villain for villainy sake.
You want my motivation? Fuck you. That's my motivation. I make gang members fight to the death, and I got scantily clad women to serve me drinks while I watch. Why wouldn't I be doing this?
Gotta admit, she's got a fair point. With Chokei's mother being abducted by the Thug Hunters, the team goes undercover to try and bust her out of Scorpion's clutches. While separated within the jail, Honey comes across someone oddly familiar.
So am I dreaming this?
I'll tell you later.
Well, from where I'm hanging, it's a dream to me.
Oh, I'm no illusion. I'm just Honey.
That guy she's freeing? That's Akira from Go Nagai's Devilman. Yeah, that's right. This show just pulled a Marvel Studios on us. In fact, there's a lot of other nods and even cameos from some other of Go Nagai's work, including Professor Kabuto from Mazinger Z. You know what? I don't even care that because of the timeline in the show, these characters shouldn't be alive, let alone suddenly interacting with Cutie Honey. It's just damn cool. The only letdown with Akira here, though, is that he never transforms into Devilman. But he still gets to kick all sorts of ass, while Cutie Honey takes down Scorpion in a masked wrestler outfit. And right there, in a nutshell, is what Cutie Honey is all about. Insane fun. You remember that? Fun? The thing that shows like this were all about before Sasuke ruined everything? It's a show where a gynoid strips naked to fight over-the-moon, hypersexualized villains while still maintaining a cheery, bubbly attitude. While Valkyrie bitches are where it's at, sometimes we need a Yusuke Urameshi. No angst, no games. Just here to save the goddamn day and have fun while doing it. New Cutie Honey is the magical girl genre done right. We don't need tits and ass shots all the time, or even any at all. We just need a cute, fun character to latch onto. Well, continuing our impromptu superhero android month, or sham, it's time for the fellas to get their turn. Till next time.